how's it going? This is episode 3 of Winter Brass, short musical stories about my experiences. The nights were the hardest. Cold, lonely nights. That's when the ghosts came. He'd see them out of the corner of his eye, other airmen from his time in Vietnam, compatriots still in uniform, faces blurry but familiar. They'd stand there just outside of reach, watching him, waiting for him to acknowledge them. He couldn't. There would be deadlock for what seemed to be an eternity. If he looked at them directly too long, they'd start talking, and he didn't want to hear what they had to say. He didn't want to remember his experiences with the darkest nature of man. One night, he ended up outside of Delhi, playing a slow, mournful tune that seemed to sink right into the wet, gray slush on the sidewalk. A guy came out chewing on a bagel. He was chewing on a bagel and threw a few coins into Norman's saxophone case. Then he stood there listening, and his face began to soften as he heard the beautiful music coming from his horn. "You're pretty good, old man," he said. "What you doing out here?" Norman paused, his horn pressed against his lips. "Well, my mansion's still getting fumigated," he said with a straight face. "Gotta find some way to pass the time." The guy snorted, shaking his head. Right. Take care of yourself." He dropped another dollar into the case and walked away. Norman watched him go, his fingers tapping on the cold brass of his saxophone, which was under his arm, as if he were back in the military. He used to think once upon a time that if he played loud enough, someone would hear him. Really hear him. They'd stop and they'd listen and they'd understand. But he wasn't so sure anymore. This was episode 3 of Winter Brass. Thanks for watching.